So this little video only going to be about 5 minutes, but it has to do with the Grand Tableaus for cards at the bottom that are called the Fate line. Now these come up in the 8x4 plus 4 spread. So it does not happen in the 9x4 spread, but this is why I love to do the 8x4 plus 4, because you have those extra 4. There's a story there and they have a lot to tell. So let's talk about 2 ways that those Fate cards can benefit your Lenormand readings. You might even surprise yourself and your client when you start using those well. So here we have the Grand Tableau. We have 8 cards across, 4 cards down, and here are the plus 4, the 8x4 plus 4. This is our Fate line. So let's zoom in on that for a moment. And when we take a look, so the person for whom this spread was intended, the last 4 cards, and I have a Grand Tableau cloth here that I made so you can actually see the houses. So these 4 houses are always the same in a Grand Tableau when you read houses. It's key, fish, anchor, and cross. What I noticed over time is because it always ends in the cross house, whatever this last card is, it ends up kind of bringing the reading down. In the beginning, when I started reading, I didn't know how this would benefit the person, because it seems like there's going to be no hope if everything always ends on a sour note. But actually, for this particular spread, you may find a story ends on this card here, but this adds to the story. This is its own little story, and I find that this actually is super important on its own. So these 4 cards, because they end in the problem, what they can mean, the first thing that they can mean is that this is the situation that this individual will be dealing with for whatever the time length is for this Grand Tableau. So typically mine will be 3 or 4 months. So for the next 3 or 4 months, this will be the problem or the conundrum or the situation that this person is dealing with. But because of that, what I've also learned, there have been times when I read these 4, because it is a problem, the person will say, yes, I'm going through that now. That's exactly what I'm dealing with. This is kind of the fate or the situation they're going through. This often can be another way of approaching the big question or a big problem that they're having. So you'll notice when you do the Grand Tableau, when you get this is very poignant, very meaningful quad of cards. So for this particular one thing to note about it, and if I can zoom in so you can see better, that the key house has a letter on it, followed by a key. That's something to note. And that is on the house of fish, rider on the house of anchor, and ring on the house of cross. So this particular reading has to do with the key. The very important thing has to do with something this person wants to put in writing or feels they should put in writing. And there's the key again, fish. Is it any worth? Is it any value? Is this going to benefit me? Anchor. Oh, should I do this message? Here's the message. Should I do this message? Should I stick with it? Can I do this? And then the ring has to do with the union or whatever they have to connect with or partner with, and that's on cross, and that could end up being problematic. So this is what they're wondering, will this be problematic? When I went through this Grand Tableau, what I also learned about it, so there's the querent right there, and she's on the house of whip. A lot of arguments and turmoil in her things. There's also sexuality. Whip for me is a sex. And there's the man card is the first card down. So when I started putting her cards down, we knew the first card down was the big issue, and it's a man. And it's on, look at this, the rider, the house of rider, which just happens to be the same card down here. So you'll notice when you do a Grand Tableau, you'll have redundancies in it. We'll see the same thing repeating because it doesn't want you to miss it. So no matter how you read it in all the spaces, you're going to see that thing come up 4 or 5 times, sometimes 6 or more times, depending on the spread. But it has to do here with, she got a man and she wants to give a message. And this is the last card. First and last cards are really important. Also, if you go to the end of the other message over here, there's that man, and she wants to have, she's the moon, so it's emotions and over the moon and deep feelings and her reputation. That's the words and how she uses it. So this, should she say it? Maybe she can put it in writing. So lots of other things going on. And you could read her line here, which is her present. Anything before it is the past, anything above it, in front of it is the future. And you can see how she connects with him through these cards. And interesting, notice that the fish comes up here too between them, which was a house down here in the key, and that's relevant. So anyhow, when you get these 4 cards, it can be the situation that's rolling over into the next 3 months that they're kind of working through the fate cards, or you may find that without them ever asking the question, this brings another side of it on the reason why they're sitting at your table. So take note of that fate line. And this is why I like to do the 8x4 plus 4 instead of just the 9x4, because I feel like you can get this little extra story down there, this little mini episode of what's happening in their life. And I hope that's helpful to you.